Hello, darlings. Welcome to this tapping. And today's tapping is about healthy communication. It was a request from the elevators in here. So I am here to make a tapping on healthy communication. Let's go. Before we start, take a big sip of water. I'm going to have coffee too. Okay. When it comes to communication and when it comes to having a healthy conversation, I lack some boundaries. Sometimes I feel like I really have to argue hard to get my point across. Sometimes I look down at people and don't really understand their point. I might even think that they are idiots. Sometimes I'm really stuck in my way or the highway. And sometimes I'm stuck in kind of a freeze mode where I'm shying away from bringing across a point. So now that I think about it, conversations are triggering for me, especially those I have to have with my loved ones. Maybe I have a tendency to shy away from those conversations, to secretly hope they'll solve themselves. And maybe I just hope that somehow it just goes away. And I know that that is never the case. In fact, the more I let things slide, the more in a pickle I am later. So even though having conversations might be hard for me, having difficult conversations with someone I love might be hard for me, I choose to love and accept myself anyway. And I'm willing to work through this. I'm willing to let go of my reality in which difficult conversations are hard for me. It doesn't have to be that way. I don't know what part of me thinks that it has to be hard. I'm just going to calm that voice in me. And I remember that I'm worthy of being loved and respected. I am deserving of being treated with respect and with love. And it is okay for me to raise a point that isn't working for me with someone. I also choose to know that a difficult conversation does not have to mean a breakup, a break in that relationship, a pause in that friendship. It doesn't mean that I get fired from my boss. It doesn't mean that the other person's going to hate me. So I've picked up a lot of stories on having difficult conversations. Probably all stems down to my childhood, how things are modeled. And I choose to let this all go. I choose to know that difficult conversations are empowering, that they lead to something more beautiful. And even though this is a complete new reality for me, I choose to love, accept, and forgive myself anyway. I choose to love, accept, and forgive myself, even though having difficult conversations have been challenging for me so far. I'm still worthy. I'm still capable. And I just choose to let this story go. Take a deep breath in. And let's keep going. Difficult conversations have been something I have avoided. Having conversations with my loved ones usually meant that it ended in a fight. Having difficult conversations meant that I got triggered a lot. Having conversations often leads to me being very emotional. I can either be super annoyed and get the upper hand easily, or I freeze and don't bring across the points that I wanted to bring across. There is a tendency to extremes. Kind of like the fight or flight response going on. And I don't like that. I don't know how to change that. So my way was usually to avoid those conversations. And that didn't get me anywhere either. So those difficult conversations have been triggering for me. And those difficult conversations have been avoided by me. It's kind of like I've been ditching those. Wallet. And I know that I got to elevate in this area. If I want healthy relationships, I've got to work on my communication style. I've got to let go of this self-doubt. I've got to let go of limiting beliefs like I'm always misunderstood, or that when I put up a boundary, people will leave me. And I've also got to open my heart. Because when I have a difficult conversation with one of my loved ones, I don't have to go in a fight or flight mode. I'm going to open my heart up to different opinions. I'm going to open up my heart to different ideas than mine. And I'm also going to do something super new, meaning that we can find a compromise that feels good for both of us. I don't have to buckle down completely. I don't have to abort the mission of bringing across my point to keep the peace. I don't have to fight the person I'm talking to. I'm going to choose to react differently. Because ultimately, that is the only choice I have. I hold ownership over my behavior. I hold ownership over my words that come out. No one else does. And even though I might get triggered, I choose to know that I find a way to take a deep breath and to move on. I choose to know that I'm surrounded by healthy and loving people who respect my boundaries if I need to break the conversation, to take a breath. I am becoming more and more self-aware. And even though sometimes I take things too personal, listen to things on an emotional ear, rather than the fact-based ear. I choose to love, accept, and forgive myself anyway. Even though this has been a challenge in the past. And there are some layers I need to work through. I choose to know that I'm a good communicator. I choose to know that I am safe in setting boundaries. I choose to know that it is okay to have a different opinion. I choose to know that it's important for me to be treated with love and respect. And I choose to know that I'm capable of dealing with rising emotions. I understand when my wounded inner child is screaming. I know when my ego wants to be right. And I choose to know that I have the capacity, the capability to navigate through my inner world. I don't have to lash out. I don't have to be defensive. I can always take a deep breath and come back to a centered and grounded place. I'm a good communicator. It is safe for me to place boundaries. It is safe for me to speak up. And I choose to do all of this in a healthy way. I choose to love, accept, and forgive myself. And I choose to know that I am a good communicator. I deeply and completely love, accept, and forgive myself. Take a deep breath in, hold it at the top, and let it go. Now, I suggest you do this tapping on a regular basis and really afterwards go down and see what's coming up for you. Are there limiting beliefs that you're holding on to? Like, I'm always misunderstood. Like, I don't think I'm qualified enough to raise this topic or raise this conversation. I don't think we are there yet to have this conversation. Whatever beliefs come up, let them come up and then tap them out. Then you might want to see what emotions and what feelings are rising within you. Like, see these conversations and these triggers as like, oh, okay, interesting. Here is something that activated my nervous system. I wonder what that is. And you can even go very deep and investigate on what's going on. But you can also realize that that was a situation where you got triggered and you can tap on it, you can tap it out. You're in the completely right place here. If you use tapping to rewire your beliefs, to rewire your nervous system, and to really help yourself to up level in any situation in life, and elevating in communication is so important. We need to have hard conversations. We need to have conversations where we are triggered or uncomfortable, and how to navigate through them is such an important factor in our journey of growth and our journey of evolving and developing. So let me know how things are going. Let me know if there are tappings that would benefit you and which kind of topics. There are so many topics in this membership where you can tap on allowing your feelings to be, moving through your emotions, and letting limiting beliefs go. I love you.